Hello everybody and welcome to another Doctor Who review. It's Christmas time and it's time for the review of another Christmas special, and the first one for the 11th Doctor, Matt Smith, A Christmas Carol. So here we are with the setting that you guys have got used to over the past few months, but with a Christmas tree in the background. So here we go. Let's do a review of the first Matt Smith story to be shown at Christmas, A Christmas Adventure. A Christmas Carol, written by Stephen Moffat and starring Matt Smith as the 11th Doctor, Karen Gillan as Amy Pond, Arthur Darvill as Rory Williams, with Michael Gambon as Kazran, and Catherine Jenkins as Abigail. Basic plot. Rory and Amy are on their honeymoon, and they are on a cruise ship which seems to be crashing into a planet. However, the planet is covered by a cloud system which seems to be causing a lot of turbulence and stopping the ship from landing on the planet. The clouds are owned by Kazran Sardik. Kazran is very much a Scrooge-like figure, very mean, and doesn't care that 4,003 people are about to die. The Doctor has to go and think slightly differently how to get round this. So what he does, and he travels back in time to see a young Kazran and try and change his outlook. Kazran is seeing video recordings that were done by young Kazran. Kazran is initially confused because these memories didn't really happen, but he's reliving them and then remembering them as the Doctor goes on the adventure. Kazran has been trying to entice fish, because there was an incident where he was ill and all the fish that were in the clouds came down and attacked a school. Kazran has an ambition to see a fish, and the Doctor helps out with his sonic screwdriver, although the sonic screwdriver is then half-eaten by a shark. That shark has the other side of the sonic screwdriver, so they tend to communicate with each other as time goes on. The shark is dying though, as it gets stuck in a door trying to attack Kazran and the Doctor. And the best way of ensuring that the shark survives is that they are cryogenically frozen. The Doctor manages to open the cryogenic vault and finds Abigail there nice and frozen. Kazran says she's the best option, and she's a very good singer and could actually calm the shark. This comes from a video projection information film that comes up on the pod, confirming what she's there for and why she's there. They open the pod, and Abigail starts having multiple adventures over multiple Christmases with the Doctor and Kazran. Kazran gets older, falls in love with Abigail, and is told by Abigail on the last time, when they're in the 1950s, and Marilyn Monroe is about to marry the Doctor, and actually ends up telling Kazran the secret. Kazran doesn't want to do anything to do with the Doctor anymore, and ends up becoming more mean and spiteful as he was normally set out to do. Unfortunately, the Doctor has changed too much, and with that, Kazran no longer can isomorphically control the cloud machine like he did before, and it ends up that Kazran can't change the clouds. Because Abigail was ill, she only had 8 days left, full days left to live, and she'd used most of them, only had 1 day left. Kazran was bitter about this, and was bitter for the Doctor playing with his emotions, so it didn't quite work out. All is not lost though, as the shark who's eaten the sonic screwdriver still is alive at the time of Kazran's elder years, an old man, and is enticed down from the sky by Abigail, who sings sweetly through the sonic screwdriver to get the shark to come down. The shark then allows the clouds to be more settled and not as turbulent, and allows the ship that Amy and Rory are on to land safely. Kazran is bittersweet about Abigail coming alive again, but they end up celebrating Christmas riding with the shark through the air. So that's it. That is the plot of A Christmas Carol. It basically is the Doctor being inspired by Charles Dickens' famous novella, A Christmas Carol. Let's go through the cast. Let's go through the main cast. All the auxiliaries and that are interesting plot points, but the focus is on the 5 main cast members, which are Matt Smith as the Doctor, Karen Gillan as Amy Pond, Arthur Darvill as Rory Williams, Michael Gambon as Kazran, and Catherine Jenkins as Abigail. As with Christmas specials are starting to become traditional, special guest stars come in from the worlds of entertainment. Michael Gambon is the latest edition of that, and at this point he's still well known for playing Dumbledore in the Harry Potter movies. The planet is in the far future, Kazran's the ruler of this world and everybody else is poor around him. It's very much taking a lot of leads from the Christmas Carol. It's interesting how Matt Smith is working here. He's very settled with the role now. He is the whimsical Doctor you saw in Series 5, but there is a slight darkness and manipulative side that he's starting to regret a little bit, which we see in Series 6. What Matt Smith gets, like every Doctor, he plays very well. I think he's still not got the having to rely on this characterization. There's a lot of good writing still here with Matt Smith at this point, and it's a nice timed performance and very well put together by Matt Smith, and it works well with the way he bounces off, and the rapport he has with Michael Gambon and Catherine Jenkins in this story is really good. It's really nice, and I really did enjoy it. You've then got Amy Pond, played by Karen Gillan. Amy and Rory aren't really mentioned that much. They're there at the beginning, and then Amy comes in every so often, makes comments, tries to let the Doctor know about the stakes and how long the ship has, which has about an hour to land safely, otherwise it will just be destroyed up in the air in the clouds, which is rather interesting. She doesn't really get too much to do until the third act, when she effectively becomes the ghost of Christmas Present, which I think is interesting, and that she becomes a hologram and tries to show Kazran the error of his ways and why it's important these people are to be saved, but Kazran's still a bit stubborn about it. Arthur Darvill is more the comedy relief and the comic relief, and there is a little interplay at one point where the Doctor is trying to lie to Amy. Amy sees through it, then Rory asks the same question and Amy lies to him. That's a nice little bit of comedy, and the rapport between the three of them is really quite nice overall. I think there's good rapport between Karen Gillan and Arthur Darvill, and Arthur Darvill's great with what he gets. His great part, great role. He is more of a comic foil here. He's not really got too much to do in this story. He does get a lot more in Series 6, and it's nice to see, but he's more the lighter side of the story, which is really nice. The two main focuses, I think, for the story outside of Matt Smith are Michael Gambon playing Kazran Sardick, and his father, Elliot Sardick, as well, in the flashback scenes when Kazran's younger. Very measured performance. I get the impression Michael Gambon's enjoying the fact that he's playing effectively a Scrooge character, and he probably has played Scrooge properly on stage as well, being such an established actor. It's a very well nuanced performance. The way that he puts the emotions across with the fact that Kazran is remembering things that never really happened and then thinking they are memories, and he portrays the whole emotions and the changes very well, because obviously with Doctor Who and its budgetary constraints, there's maybe things you can't really do by visuals. So what he does is you get the actors do it, and it works really well for that. And I think Michael Gambon does a very good job of this. I think it works very well. We then have Catherine Jenkins, who plays Abigail, more likely used for a voice in the song that she sings for the shark. But she plays a good role. It's quite fun. She certainly has got decent acting chops. It's kind of like Stephen Moffat trying to repeat the trick of Kylie Minogue. The only difference is Kylie Minogue was an actress, so there is a little bit more depth there. But I think it's a nice little setup that she's got there, and I do like the way Catherine Jenkins is used here. I think it's really nice. Good bits about the story. I like the take on A Christmas Carol and the Doctor using it as an influence. I like the scene where he's still trying to convince Kazran. I like the bit where Kazran younger is watching Kazran older about the bitterness that he's become. The whole twist is really quite nice and dark, and makes Kazran realise, hang on a minute, we need to sort this. I'm maybe being too harsh on myself. And there is that bitterness underlying as well with Kazran and the hate for his father. The Doctor points that out at one point, that Kazran's always facing away from all the photographs and pictures, all the pictures of his father that are adorned in the big dining living area that Kazran tends to live in, which is rather Scrooge, dark and cold a little bit, which is interesting to see. I do like the element of the sci-fi element with the fish in the clouds. It's a nice little element, something that is really Doctor Who. The fact the fish can live in the clouds and actually survive as they are is an interesting concept, and it seems that the fish were becoming a bit troublesome at some point, which is why they're being controlled. But off the back of that, somebody of rich money and rich mind has actually then taken advantage of the situation and made the whole planet poorer. So overall, the redemption arc is the fact that Kazran and Abigail are able to enjoy Christmas one last time, and he becomes a better man after that. I think that's a really nice idea. The bits I'm not quite sure of, I think maybe the story is maybe a little bit too long. I think it could have worked in a 45-minute format, not 60. I think there's a bit too much of the padding. I think it's there for emotional purposes, and in that respect it's okay, but I think it could be a little bit tighter. I think we don't need to have so many deeper scenes in there with the Doctor travelling different places. They did try and do a montage with that with Abigail and Kazran, but it could have been cut a little bit quicker. And they were doing photograph montages. Maybe that could have been cut down a bit. I think the back and forth with the Doctor speaking to Kazran in a quiet way there could have been a little bit of exposition, maybe a bit more show. But that's the balance you've got to have with a budget like Doctor Who. You've got to try and get that balance between it. Toby Haynes, I think, does a good job directing this. There's not so much of the special effects. They're more helped on the cloud planet and the clouds themselves. So there's a lot more practical effects been put in here, and obviously the fish is CGI as well. And I think Toby Haynes does a good pacing with it, although I think maybe there could have been a little bit less to it because it was a little bit exposition-y and maybe a bit too much in some respects. It's a bit interesting that, but Toby Haynes does a great job directing it. It really does work well. I quite like the way it's come across, and it's quite enjoyable actually. The direction overall, a nice little watch. Definitely a bit light. The writing by Stephen Moffat is a bit darker than some of the other Doctor Who Christmas specials we've had since the revival. It's interesting with the writing that this is Stephen Moffat's first Christmas script, and he's about to do another one in 10 days' time at the time of release of the video. It's really interesting how that's going to work. I'm looking forward to seeing what Joy to the World's like, but this first outing from A Christmas Carol isn't too bad. And overall, I was thinking of giving it 4 TARDISes out of 5, but actually mulling over it for 24 hours after watching it, I'm probably going to tweak it down just a little bit, but it is a high 3.5 TARDISes out of 5. Okay, let's see how that story stacks up with the rest of the Matt Smith era I've reviewed so far, and how it stacks up with the rest of the TV stories I've reviewed so far as well. A Christmas Carol is the 4th story to be rated 3.5 TARDISes out of 5 in the Matt Smith era. The other stories are Amy's Choice, The Pandorica Opens the Big Bang, and The Crimson Horror. The 5 stories at the bottom of the Matt Smith era reviews with 3 TARDISes out of 5. They are The Name of the Doctor, Nightmare in Silver, Hyde, The Power of 3, and Dinosaurs on a Spaceship. The Day of the Doctor is the highest rated Matt Smith story with 4.5 TARDISes out of 5. Overall, there are still 2 stories with 2.5 TARDISes out of 5. They are Timelash and Sleep No More, and at the top, including The Day of the Doctor, are 6 other stories with 4.5 TARDISes out of 5. They are The Happiness Patrol, Inferno, The Caves of Androzani, The Tomb of the Cybermen, Dalek, and The End of Time. Thank you guys for watching this video. What did you think about A Christmas Carol? Leave a comment down below. Not comment. Did you like it? Leave a comment down below. Are you not so keen? Leave a comment down below. If you like this video, please like it and share it with the hashtag Teamstructor. If you like the channel as a whole, please hit that subscribe button and the notifications bell so you know when a new video comes out. General, new video every Sunday at 4 PM GMT, which is exactly what's going to happen next week. And it's the Christmas special of Kidstructor, and we're doing the Snowman, Fraser and I. Hopefully you can join me for that. There is going to be additional content for Doctor Who in December. I haven't listed it on the schedule because I wasn't sure what the timings would be, but as it stands at the moment, it's probably going to be a first impression of Joy to the World 5 days later on the 30th of December. Key reason for that is I'm not in the UK for Christmas Day. I'm actually in Hungary, so I'm not going to be here to watch it live and have everything in place to actually record it and upload it. I probably won't be able to watch it properly and get a critical eye until the 29th of December, so that's why it won't be till the 30th. There will be a video on the 29th at 4 PM GMT. That will be the best of the vlogs of 2024, and then the new year starts with a channel update on the 5th of January at 4 PM GMT. So that's really your lineup for the next few weeks. But until then, guys, thank you very much for watching, and you know what? I shall see you later.